morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're joining us in the world. Welcome to the final education track session at siberXchange, the first ever siberXchange online live summit. My name is Ali Hirji. I lead the AI Hub at Durham College as well as the Center for Cybersecurity Innovation, and I'm also the lead on the advisory committee for the siberXchange. Today, we have approximately 24 people who have joined us, a mix of people from within the platform itself, as well as people who have joined in directly through the Zoom feed. Really just depends on which application you're coming in through. Most of the sessions right now are about to wrap up, so I do expect a certain group of people to jump on even in the next 5 to 10 minutes, additional folks. So we're going to get started nonetheless. I'm not going to do introductions to each of these fine individuals. I'm going to let them talk about their work themselves because they have much to share. But I'm going to turn it over to a really good friend, Jack Lee from the Career Foundation. Jack's been super amazing in looking at ways in which to connect the community to career opportunities. And I'm going to give him the next minute or two just to set some context for us before he turns it over to Dino to talk more about cyber seniors and the amazing stuff happening at Spark Technical Academy. Jack, over to you.
Thank you, Ali, for that introduction. My name is Jack. I'm from the Career Foundation. I am the IT specialist in my role. So what the Career Foundation does is we connect job seekers as well as employers with employment opportunities. So COVID-19 is very interesting, actually. It changes the landscape of how we do business. Before, we have a lot of job seekers coming in looking for work, and we have that sort of one-on-one support. But with COVID-19, over a night, over a day, it changed our business. We don't get to see employers or job seekers face-to-face. Everything is digital. And to my point is, a lot of matured workers are very still learning that sort of technology realm. And then we feel that we need to bring that sort of user education to the mature workers. They are in isolation in terms of their job search. And for us, we want to help that sort of community. So in our sort of landscape, in the realm of work, we sort of bring about training opportunities such as this, and also with different partnerships, such as Durham College. And now Dino from Spark Niagara will give a little context in terms of the realm of education with mature workers. Over to you.
Thank you, Jack. I really appreciate being here with all of my esteemed colleagues and peers connected to this. I'm Dino Miele. I'm CEO of Spark Niagara, but my biggest passion is working through our Spark Technical Academy, which is a community-based technology training center where we help kids from 4 years old all the way to 18-year-old adolescents. What's important about our academy is community-based. It adds innovation and education put together that focuses on high-quality virtual learning and hands-on experience on the new normal after COVID-19. The best part about our area is that we help learning experiences for every generation, from children and youth via the tech camps that we do, to the adults retraining camps and skills development to help them prepare for new careers or reskill for the career after the changes that are happening with COVID-19 in their present career. And one of the most important ones that come close to our heart now at Spark Technical Academy is what Nancy and Brenda are doing, and that's working with cyber seniors. And through Spark's partnership, it's a key area where we can now have intergenerational support for the youth all the way to the seniors, and how to use technology safely, create an awareness of responsibility, but most of all, giving the digital tools that will help us support the new thinking that's required, the new collaboration and new creativity of what the new normal will look like after COVID-19.
Thank you, Dino. I'm Nancy Siciliana. I am the Niagara Region Coordinator for Cyber Seniors. And I want to give you a little bit of a history about Cyber Seniors and how it got started. Cyber Seniors is the brainchild of two sisters who, when they were teenagers, they were in search of a community service project at school, and they decided that since they experienced communicating with their grandparents on Facebook, and that was such an amazing experience for them to go through, they decided that they would get a bunch of friends together and start their friends working together with them to meet up with seniors who were local and work as mentors to train seniors the basic tech skills that they would need to use the internet and computers. And from there, Cyber Seniors became an organization that basically created a program that they would help other organizations integrate into their own goals for training seniors how to use tech skills, and for training mentors how to work with seniors, how to communicate the knowledge that they have about technology effectively. And this is what they developed over time. And this was basically the way that Cyber Seniors operated in person, one-to-one, since its inception, and right up until March the 13th, which was the day that COVID-19 changed everything for everyone. And at first, it looked like we were going to be finished, to be honest. But we became agile about figuring out how to address the problem of being separated from seniors who were already enforced into isolation. And that was one of the things that Cyber Seniors was focused on ameliorating for seniors in the first place. So we focused on how to reach out to seniors so that they could get the tech skills that they really needed at this time, when they really had no access to anyone nearby who could help them. And we also focused on how to enlarge our current network of student mentors. And we were quite fortunate to make use of the fact that there were so many students who were precluded from completing their school requirements because the schools had all closed down as a result of the disease. So we went online. We went online where we had so much of our work anyway, and we decided to take things to the virtual platform. We decided that we would reach out to seniors and ask them to contact us using a phone number, which was a little revolutionary for us, because what that did was eliminate the fear of trying to use a digital device for seniors, since so many of them actually owned them, but never used them because they didn't know how. And they got on the phone and called us. They didn't need to have anybody help them to use a device to get in touch with us. And from there, we were able to get them partnered up with tech mentors from the number of students who called in or emailed us and became tech mentors and decided to go through the tech mentor training process with Cyber Seniors. And that shifted everything for us. We kind of stumbled into an extremely effective way of reaching out to seniors in isolation, far more effective than we had been in terms of working one-to-one, in that we were able to reach seniors that weren't able to get to a location where our program would be offered. So suddenly those issues were not important anymore. They could just phone us and they could reach out to us that way, and we could get them started on improving their technology skills. It was also a time when their fear about technology was suppressed a little bit, and it became really important. And they realized it was really important that learning basic tech skills that would help them to connect with friends and family that they could no longer see was just a phone call away. So they no longer feared it. They were interested in learning it because it was so vital to know those skills. Now, that's the story of where we are now. We're working on a virtual level now. We've had an opportunity to really grow our mentoring network throughout North America. We have people volunteering with us from as far away as New Zealand and Australia at the moment, and we're receiving emails from different parts of the world all the time. So that network is growing. Our access to seniors who have really been isolated is also growing, which gives us opportunities to expand the way that we train mentors and expand the way that we teach seniors how to use technology. So we've introduced tech session webinars on our website at www.siberseniors.org, and people can elect to take part in those very casual, very comfortable tech session learning opportunities for free. Mentors can also sign up to host one of those tech session webinars so that they're actively engaging with seniors more than one at a time. We've also created an opportunity for seniors to connect to the entire community online on our website. So we are growing that intergenerational community during our weekly community chats. And we're only going to continue working on this platform as we go forward because, you know, working one-to-one is very special, very effective, and we're never going to give that up, but we're also never going to give up working on the virtual platform because it opens up so many possibilities, eliminates so many barriers to the resources that are available. Brenda?
I'm Brenda Rusnak. I'm one of the founders of Cyber Seniors and the executive manager. And the only thing that Nancy did a great job of giving you an overview on what Cyber Seniors does. The only thing that I'd like to add is that we're grateful to New Horizons Foundation or Fund that provided us with funding last year to translate all of our curriculum into French. We had already received some funding from another organization to translate it into Spanish. So within the next month, we will be offering all of our curriculum, all of our resources on our website in both in French and in Spanish. And in addition to hosting daily webinars in English, we will be hosting daily webinars in Spanish and French as well. So we really feel that that will expand our reach even further to vulnerable populations that are additionally isolated because of language barriers.
Okay.
It's a very interesting program that all three of you have. So I'm just wondering, I'm very curious, what sort of software do this program teaches for seniors? I know for a lot of our job seekers have some issues with internet and so forth. Maybe Nancy, you could ask that question. I mean, address it.
So we generally go in with whatever it is that seniors wish to learn, depending on what device they're using. That's usually the determinant right there. But our webinars cover every type of software that is available commercially to the public. So for example, the first one everybody wants to learn how to use, of course, is Zoom and other communication applications like that. Because this is the problem solver for so many people. They can see friends, they can see family, they can communicate long distance without worrying about financial barriers. So that's just the first thing people are taught how to do. And then from there, mentors and seniors work together and they can learn whatever software they wish to use. So our webinars actually cover tech sessions on things like using Word, using Excel, using streaming services, having access to ebooks,
Grocery shopping online.
Renewing your prescriptions, things that they have never done before but have heard all about, such as shopping online. That's brand new for a lot of seniors. So we introduce them to using transactional websites. Another big one right now is telemedicine. We've had some really good feedback about that. But it does allow seniors to see their doctors in safety.
And the other thing that is nice is that if a senior participates in a webinar and doesn't quite understand or doesn't quite catch it all, they can then book a one-on-one meeting following that. And a lot of times that happens, is that they participate in a general webinar, but for whatever reason, they come away from that webinar being slightly confused about the subject matter, and they can have follow-up one-on-one sessions with a mentor.
Yeah, from what I see with the COVID-19, a lot of seniors are going online, using the computer and having internet access even more. So that leaves a lot of vulnerability in terms of hackers. Do your program offer some sort of, I guess, in terms of having that sort of protection or training in regards to like viruses, things of that nature?
We've actually started a monthly webinar. It's been our most popular webinar. We had almost 100 people, seniors, participate, and it's just on cybersecurity. And we have guest speakers that work in the industry. And basically, it's a very, very practical session, so it's not high level. It presents to the seniors that are participating all of the latest schemes that are targeting seniors, and not just technology schemes either. Like there's, you know, all these fraudulent schemes. And clearly by the number of participants that we had involved, seniors are very aware of that and very interested in learning how to protect themselves.
So I can add a little bit to that if it's values that exactly what Brenda and Nancy are saying is there's areas that we are helping seniors with these webinars and sometimes even panels. Because they're going online, we make sure that they know some of the things that they should be looking at when using email. You know, what does a phishing scam look like? What does, protecting your identity, how can you do that when you're online? How to make sure that you have a safe way of making sure that your password is not easily breakable and you're not using the same password for everything that you're connecting to. How can you make sure that when you go onto social networks, you don't get tricked? And if you get into any places where they're trying to do a scam or fraud, where there could even be a phone call, saying that they're from a bank or wherever, asking you to get your password. So it's a mixture of using the old technology of the telephone all the way into the computer.
So can I just jump in very quickly, because I've got a couple of questions that are coming in from the chat function as well as the app. And I think this question is sort of for Nancy, but also for Jack, and maybe Brenda, and you might have an input on this, is that who are the trainers in your sessions? Do you have anything that is a program to train the trainers where, for example, a senior might take a course like Certified Secure Computer User and learn it from, I don't know, someone like a security professional, okay? But once that senior is certified in it, can that senior now begin to teach other seniors? So do you have any of these train the train programs in place?
Do you want to answer that, Brenda? Or
sure, I'll answer that. We're actually in the pre-COVID, we were in the process of developing a training program specifically for seniors who wanted to volunteer for our program. So we're halfway through that. We really just, we had priority items that we had to deal with when COVID broke, but it is a real priority for us. But recently we've been approached by a couple of organizations that utilize seniors as volunteers, in-person volunteers. For example, Foster Grandparents Program sends seniors into schools to help young people read. And so we've been approached by them because those programs will not be taking place this September. Right. And so those seniors now need training in a virtual reading program. So we have been involved in training them. Our trainers, our professional trainers, actually do the initial training of those. But how we utilize our volunteers is that our volunteers act as practice sessions. Because what we have found is that it's one thing just to show somebody how to utilize, a Zoom platform. It's another thing to actually show them and practice with them to go through the process and the protocol. So, for example, if you were doing a reading program, you might start with having your cameras on, but then you would share your screen, and you might go back and forth. You have to know how to access a book online. So those sorts of things will be taught by our professional teachers, but the practice sessions, which we believe are really the most important thing, will take place from now until September, so that these seniors are well prepared to go into the schools in September virtually and carry on the program.
Interesting. There's another question that's come in, and I guess, Jack, this one is probably directed to you, and then maybe even Dino. So Jack, we can start off with you, and that is, everybody talks about this gap in the cybersecurity industry and lack of skilled professionals. Is there any career paths that you're looking at, specifically for seniors, where they can come into the cybersecurity industry and start to support it? Jack, anything from your perspective on the career side?
Well, actually, thank you for mentioning about that. With the COVID-19, there's actually more demand in terms of the cybersecurity realm. There's actually a need for 28,000 cybersecurity jobs as of now to date, and there probably will be growing. So from a cybersecurity aspect, yes, there's a high need, but then it goes back to training. It goes back to learning that ethical hacking and sort of different certifications to learn about the specific software. So what we do is we, in partnership with such as Durham College, Accenture, different partnerships, we create a workforce development program that not only bridge that education program and the certification, but also we deal with the placement piece as well. So having that work experience that would help bridge the gap with the mature workers. I mean, right now, baby boomers are equivalent numbers to millennials, and baby boomers are the biggest user in terms of computers and online software. So for us, we do have that sort of program that will help bridge that gap, and there is a huge need for the labor market, and we foresee new type of occupation coming up in this realm.
Great. Dino, any perspective from your side there?
Yeah, so what we've noticed is breaking the myths of, or crushing the myth of stereotyping or stigma of seniors or aged baby boomers or older. And what we found is if we're taking seniors to come in who are semi-retired or have been in industry, whether a C-level professional or even in a management position, they become amazing motivators and mentors and coaches in the cyber safety and security area. Even though they're not experts, they become aspiring entrepreneurs themselves that use the experience and background that they have and the tacit knowledge over the 40, 50 years that they've been in business to actually extend critical thinking areas or gaps that young people wouldn't see when looking at cyber safety and security. So we noticed that bringing them in puts temper to the metal because of the wisdom that they bring and the critical thinking opportunities that they allow the younger cybersecurity learning students in that area or field.
I like to add on that point too. I want to eliminate one of the myths too, that senior people are not adaptive to technology. I actually met a job seeker that is very adaptive. They started with IBM with their computer. They started with BlackBerry, and they went to Nortel, and they move on learning Apple. They learned to use Chromebooks, and now we're into the smartphone era. So I think in terms of mature job seekers or those that within that sort of age group, I would agree that they're very adaptive. They've seen a lot of things, like the financial crisis of 2008. They've been very adaptive, and they're actually the best consultant. Like you said, Dino, they bring a lot of sort of that value proposition in terms of that end. I guess, what do you think?
Yeah,
No,
and it's interesting. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but it's interesting. We have a question here from Amy where she's talking about this idea is that there are a lot of seniors with dementia, and while they're making efforts to now sort of engage in this digital environment, there's a lot of stigma that's associated with it. And I think what we're hearing overall is that you folks are doing great work, but we all need to sort of rally around why this is important, so on and so forth, and lend resources into it.
yeah. So to me, we have an aging population, as you know, I think it's like 82 million between Canada and the US are baby boomers. We have some millennials and all the way back to Generation Z and so on. But we need to take care of that workforce. And we would say here at Spark Technical Academy and Spark that there's a high percentage of be willing to come in and go back into the workforce just to bring their experience and their knowledge to become trained trainers or to become coaches and mentors to new entrepreneurs or to graduating students into careers. There's a lot we could be doing with our seniors because we believe, as if it was 50 years ago, that you end up in a retirement home or you end up in a long-term care home and that's it. And that's not true. It's the baby boomers have come into a generation that they're go-getters. They're not going to stop and they're going to keep going. So we want to be able to capture that, let's call it that oil of knowledge, right? The new energy that we can bring into the youth.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm just looking at the time. We've got approximately 2 more minutes. And I have one more question, which I think I can weave in as sort of our closing comments. And this is more a question on action, right? And a call to action. We're seeing, and I'll read the question verbatim from Twitter. It says, we're seeing a lot of municipalities do stuff around cybersecurity for seniors. For example, in Ajax, I'm doing some work with Mayor Collier, so on and so forth. How is it that we can all come together to run some streamlined programming, but more importantly, can we create an industry certification that is geared towards the seniors community? So Brenda, we'll start with you. Your thoughts on a call to action and whether, a certification for seniors in cybersecurity is what we need. Brenda, 30 seconds.
Yeah, well, certification is not really, our area of expertise, but I guess my opinion on it is that security issues are constantly changing. And so I think that
Lieutenant Trombley.
One thing to have a certificate program and on one day, but these sorts of things are constantly evolving. And so my perspective on it is that there does need to be ongoing education in the security level. And it really needs to involve some practical examples rather than just high level education. That's been my experience in teaching seniors.
Thank you, Brenda. Very insightful. Nancy?
I would echo that. And I would also say one of the things that we can already do and strengthen our efforts on is enabling seniors find out that information for themselves online and by working with other sources of information, their peers, for example. Because as Brenda says, it has to be very practical. They have to find the information easy to digest and learn. And they need to be able to stay on top of all of the different scams that are coming up. There are literally millions of them all the time. And that's the one thing that keeps them away, that feeling of vulnerability. So.
Yep, that makes sense. Jack, I'll give you one closing comment and then me and Dino will sort of pull down the final curtain on day one. So Jack, one comment from you with regards to certifications and maybe an industry standard for the seniors education in cyber.
I'm a big advocate in terms of certification and also in training. I believe that knowledge is very vital. I mean, not just about security, but also in software as well. There's a lot of software that's evolving. AI technology is evolving. So I believe that it's up to the community and us to sort of develop that credential and sort of help the seniors in that sort of area. But not just certification, but we want practical experience as well, right? So perhaps like an internship program where they could work for example, Ontario Hydro, and just have that practical application where they could learn that sort of skills. That's where I come from.
Yeah, now that's, you know, from a perspective of how do you take all of this knowledge and make it into something that can, you know, render value, not just from you know something, but you're recognized knowing something. This remains a challenge in our industry in general. But I think you've raised a good point, is that through partnerships between Cyber Seniors, Spark Technical Academy, Career Foundation, etc., you can roll out more platforms where seniors can access these kind of trainings, not just in one particular format, but they can do it online, they can do it in different languages, they can do it, you know, in different formats that will suit their needs. So I think that's one of the beauties of bringing, you know, Spark Technical Academy, Cyber Seniors, and Career Foundation together into this session. You know, I want to turn it over to you for some closing comments. You know, you and I have been, you know, you've been a mentor to me, and you and I have been working very closely together on numerous initiatives. And you've always said, right, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. And I think you've been a master at always getting things started in order for people to take this forward. What do you think, Dino, given all the effort that you're putting in through Spark Technical Academy and through your partners like Cyber Seniors, et cetera, what do you need from the community in order to see initiatives like Cyber Seniors grow further?
Thank you, Ali. It's very kind what you said, and it's been an honor to work with all of this, the team on this seminar here. I guess I would say that one thing we're missing is that every one of us in any age group can be advisors. We forget that we have some sort of tacit knowledge that we could be working together collaboratively. There should be a very wide, open, and collaborative opportunity to try and work as a community of entrepreneurs, of experts, trying to solve problems that help the area that we live in. We need to make sure that all of us can be part of that ecosystem. So an example would be, and I want to lightheartedly end it, is if you look at some of the young people I deal with at the Spark Innovation Center, two things that I always ask them is, what keeps you up at night, and what are you worried about when you're here? And they tell me, oh, we're just anxious about our future. But the worst one that makes me laugh is the biggest thing they worry about is when their battery's low or there's not enough Wi-Fi signal. When I ask a senior, they ask me, where's the ambulance and where's the defibrillator? So you can see the dichotomy between the two, right? But being lighthearted like that, it's all about being advisors and being community collaborators.
I agree. Well, Dino, with that, we are now at 5:03 p.m., which means that we're about 3 minutes ahead of, 3 minutes late from when we were supposed to end. But listen, I thank all of you for the time today in closing off the education track. I know all of you have been engaging in sessions throughout the day. Tomorrow, we begin with our advisory roundtable, in which we're going to be talking about some new initiatives. And after that, we jump into Women in Cyber and many other smart cities, as well as CISO Forum. I do request everyone that tomorrow, you know, come together with a few more questions, come together with some reading done in advance. I'm inviting all of you, especially, to come to a session that I'll be doing with Carol Todd. And this is Amanda Todd's mother. Many of you would know that Amanda Todd had suffered a bout of some serious cyberbullying and violence online, which resulted in her taking her own life. And I think it's important for people to realize, just like Dino and everybody else have mentioned, cybersecurity or cyber safety is not just about being technical and knowing how to execute a pen test. It's about knowing how somebody's psychology thinks, knowing about mental health, knowing about what happens online. So I really thank you, Dino, for everything that you've done. I thank you, Nancy, Brenda, Jack, for all of your efforts and your engagements. It's been a phenomenal day. And we're going to have more of this excitement again tomorrow. Later on this evening, we will be hosting the 40 Under 40 Awards here in Niagara. So do tune in either via YouTube or our application. Otherwise, we'll see you on the app, and we'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early. Have a wonderful Thursday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay strong. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Night.
Cheers.